Hey guys, happy Easter, happy Sunday. Welcome in, welcome in. Oudinet, thank you for the bits. Keith, welcome, hello. How's everybody doing today? Sorry, I'm just getting my little picture, my little reference picture set up. Okay, we have one more to go today. One more. It's not Foxy today, Outa. I'm that bunny girl today. Just for today. Just for Easter. Right, we have one more. One more mushroom to paint, and then we're never painting this mushroom again that I know of. Got our last little boy here. The last one left is black and white acrylic, colored afterward in the grisaille technique with oil paints. I don't discernibly know how this is going to go any differently than the other options we tried, but we're gonna see. I'm a little concerned that so far they all look very similar, and so I'm worried that we're going to end this with no actual answers. But we'll see. We shall see. I'm not hearing the music. Oh, it's because it's this song which has like a stupidly long silent intro. Hey, bunny, that's me. Okay, I'm just bringing up a timer for myself. As with the other ones, we are going to do. Let's do the 45-minute stretch first. I'm going to put 45 minutes on the clock. After 45 minutes, I will take a break. We will come back and we will do the oil with an hour to go. I didn't set any of this up beforehand. See if our wet palette kept our acrylic paints from 3 days ago? 3 days ago? It turned some of them into complete liquid. But they look pretty usable. The red and yellow are completely useless to us today because we're not using those, but I'm not going to waste perfectly good white and black, so we'll mix this lot up into a nice black. Very liquidy, but we can live with it. Oh, Anonymous. Anonymous out here gifting? Thank you, Anonymous. You secretive little one, you. Perhaps it was the Easter Bunny. Perhaps. I think we're actually about to stretch for 45 minutes. Honestly, would probably do me good. We don't got time for that here, though. We don't got time for that. We gotta get this done. We've been dilly-dallying on this showdown for days now. I was gonna finish yesterday, and then I woke up with a migraine. My migraine was like kind of gone by the end of the day, but at like 6 p.m. I was like, should I set up to stream and finish this? And then I was like, no, I just don't want to. I'm just gonna spend the rest of the night on the couch. But I feel a little bit better today, so. This black just needs a little bit more blue, so sneak that in there. Thank you. I'm glad I feel better too. I've been getting a lot of headaches lately, and I don't know what the deal is. I have a funny feeling it's maybe painting and gaming, which doesn't bode well for me because I'm not going to stop doing that. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of headaches lately. I don't know. It could also be my like sleeping. I feel like I need a different pillow than I have, but I've bought other pillows before and they haven't worked out for me, so I'm a very like fussy neck sleeper. I get neck pain really easily. And so something's not lining up back there, but okay. This is like a little bit more brown than black, but I think that might actually be nice tonally for the end piece, so I'm just gonna leave that like that. In fact, I think I might try and corral it into a nicer pile. Sure. All that good. Okay. It's prepped. I might actually just wipe this colored puddle out of my way. This vaguely green puddle. Clean out of my way. What? New pillow would do wonders. Yeah, I think I gotta experiment with it. I've been neglecting my stretching exercises that I actually am supposed to do. I'm supposed to hang upside down for like 10 minutes a day minimum to try and like stretch my neck and spine out, and I've just been lazy and I've been neglecting doing it. So it's probably my own fault I've been getting headaches, and I should just be better. Maybe in the future I'll be better, right guys? I'm capable of that, right? Right. Okay. I apologize if the fidelity on this camera isn't as good as it usually is. My usual camera is dead because for some reason it wasn't plugged in. So I'm charging it right now and I'm using my normal cell phone in the meantime, which seems to have like weirder picture. I don't know if that's just me, but it doesn't seem as clear as the other one did to me, so I don't know, but you guys will just have to live with it until the other one charges. He's at work right now. He works until 6. 6? I think 6. So we've got 2 hours without him. We're free. We're free. We can get up to whatever we want. But hopefully he'll maybe be home after we're done this while I'm still streaming, so he can give his 2 cents on all of this mess we've made. So, all right, guys, I'm going to hit the timer, and I'm just gonna start in on the mushroom. I'm wondering. No, I was thinking of putting the reference picture into black and white for this stage to copy, but I think I'm just gonna do it with what we got. I'm gonna do it with what we got. I need the practice on like value reading in color, so I'm just gonna leave it in color and turn it black and white with my mind. With my mind. Okay. Press and play. We got 45 minutes on the clock. Just going to do some blocking in. Painted this mushroom so many times by now, I feel like I'd probably do this blocking without the reference. He is trapped. Your boy's trapped at work. Making him work Easter Sunday. I guess when people need beer, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about your holidays. There are people who need beer out here. I feel like, did I make that too low? Seems a little low. I'm sure it's fine. Already been looking at the other comparisons and thinking how interesting it is that some of them are just slightly higher and lower than each other, which like makes sense. You're never gonna pick a perfect. You're never gonna eyeball a perfect spot, but. Thank you, Auda. Very nice. I don't know how I feel about this. Circle there. Okay. Painting this in black and white is going to be weird. Painted in color so many times. Seems wrong already. There's like a small part of me that thinks it would be fun to also do this in gouache and in watercolor. And then there's another part of me that's way over painting this mushroom and is like, nah, Nah, you got to do that on paper. It's not congruent canvas sizes. Too many variables, not worth it, not worth it. I'm really curious how this method is going to press us for time. I have a funny feeling this will not go as fast as the colored acrylics with oil over top of them, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll go like lickety split. Well, bets are kind of off on what I think is gonna win at this point. So we definitely hated working in one of the mediums more than the others, but that didn't necessarily equate to the outcome being worse. So yeah, we might beat the buzzer. We don't know. It's possible. It's certainly indubitably not impossible. Fly spray. Buzzer beater. You can get on that. You get on that company, Outa. You sell that fly spray. You know, I must say this is a very disappointing Easter for me. The bunny brought me no chocolate whatsoever. Which just seems wildly unfair. But that does mean that maybe the perfect excuse for me to go out after the weekend is over and acquire myself my own chocolate. My own discount Easter chocolate. So we want the cap on this to be extremely vibrant, and all the color has to come from the oil paints. So it's going to be basically white, which I know, like, value-wise isn't correct. That the, like, if I put this in black and white, it wouldn't be basically white. But I think in this situation, I'm better off to add the shading in with the oil colors afterwards, and just leave it all bright white for the sake of vibrancy. I could be wrong. I could be making that up entirely. Let's not pretend I know what I'm talking about all the time. I'm also not going to paint in the little spots in the acrylic layer because it would be absolutely an unnecessary waste of time to have to paint the red around those spots in oils. So we'll paint the cap red in the oils, and then after it is already red, we will just spot the white spots on in oils also on top, which might work. I think it'll work. It's the plan anyway. Nothing tastes better than discount chocolate. Oh, it's not over yet? Yeah, that's true. But I don't expect Goldie to bring me anything home from work that isn't beer. I mean, Easter beer could be something. Could be something. This needs to come shapely down just a little bit. So your business days are over. Tried, you're not horrible enough. You made enough to quit and just live. Honestly, that's the dream, Oda. You've reached nirvana then. I agree that that's the goal. We all want to get to the point where we feel no need to perpetrate any business ever again. Just want to be chilling and shit. Just want to be over here chilling and shit. Is that so much to ask? It is a blessing. Easter beer sounds opalescent. Get yourself an Easter beer, Oda. You deserve it. Hey, Schmuggleberry. Welcome in. Happy Easter Sunday. Or just happy Sunday if you hate Easter for some reason. Which is totally valid. It's one of the lamest of the holidays, in my opinion. Just one more house to sell. I no longer have any houses to sell. Thank God for that. Houses are a lot of work, guys. I think I made this space in here too small, but I don't super know what to do about it. It's also tough because the if you squint at this, the values in here are not particularly different. So this area in here is going to look very similar until we get some color on it. Because we're doing value work on this, you guys are going to see me like squinting in your general direction a lot, so sorry. Sorry if I look a little crazy. You're just going to have to live with it. Thank you. Yeah, it's Easter, all right. I really liked Easter as a kid, but as an adult, it doesn't really do anything for me. Don't get me wrong, I love chocolate, and I also love the concept of a hunt. Big fan of the search and find, but you don't really do Easter egg hunts as an adult. I don't remember the last time I had a hunt. I thought about taking a detour from the medium showdown to paint eggs instead on stream. But then I realized that I don't have any eggs. We ate all the eggs. The grocery stores are closed because it's Easter Sunday. Can't get eggs. So, plus it seems a little bit cruel to rub in the face of the Americans that can't afford eggs right now. Oh, it is 420, you're right, Oda. I didn't even think about that. What a holy day. What a holy day indeed. Haven't smoked since COVID? Did you end up with like a long COVID situation that made it kind of tough. I don't smoke anything. I take nothing that needs smoking. But I do partake in the 420 fun, just in the edible variety. The lungs can't take it. I don't like the idea of inhaling stuff. I guess I'm just a little baby. Just a whiny old baby. Alright, I guess we gotta get this black in there. Probably be using a bigger brush than this. You started in the pandemic, really? You're getting to quitting point. How come, Etta? Why do you think quitting's necessary? You doing it too much? Becoming too much of a vice? Ran into some Lation, almost died. Interesting. That is scary. I'm assuming you're from maybe the States or somewhere where it isn't legal, Keith? I'm in Canada, so I have the wonder of being able to acquire my drugs from a government source that's regulated and very legal. Which makes like the risk of stuff like that so low, which is good. Ohio. I really wish this stuff would just be legalized everywhere. It's so stupid that it's not. Down because some shrooms are acid or DMT. I've never done DMT. I have some friends who have told me about their experiences with it, and to me it's always a like, I don't know, man, seems kind of risky. It seems kind of risky. It seems like the potential for a concerning time is a little too high. But the other two I can get behind for real. So because this paint was sitting in my palette over the last couple of days, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. I just splattered my Yeti with a bunch of paint. It flicked off the edge of the canvas and just coated the guy in splotches. I'm gonna have to have a little cleanup after stream. But yeah, this is going on really thin because the paint was sitting in my palette and absorbed a lot of water. Which isn't the end of the world. We can just do it in layers. It is acrylic, so it'll layer up nicely, but... Oh, I don't know where my spray bottle went. Very important that. I don't know how much fidelity I should be putting into this underpainting in acrylics. I'm thinking it should be more finished than the underpainting was in the color version. Because in concept it would be ideal if we could just like glaze it with the oils. Just a quick couple of glazes and done. But I don't know. I'm skeptical of how that'll work. This is one technique that I actually have never tried. All of the other ways of painting that we've tried in this experiment are ways that I have done before and kind of know what to expect to a degree. Can't say that I can ever truly anticipate or expect the way open acrylics work because there's something not right about those. But yeah, I've never done black and white. I've never grisailled before. I've never done the black and white underpainting with washes for color. So it could go horribly wrong. And if it does, then we just know this ain't the style for us. Maybe I'll blame you guys. You've never had the chance, you're 57, what's the worst that can happen? I feel like with that kind of stuff, as long as you do your research, you don't overdo it, and you are responsible, there's no reason you shouldn't get ye experimented. But it depends on the person, I guess. I wouldn't say that to everyone, but to my way of coping with that kind of stuff is I'm a very unfussable individual, so I guess perhaps trip sitters would be more required for the average person if it's a new and never experienced thing, but I'm pretty unfussable, so. Ayahuasca? I have not tried ayahuasca. I also don't know. I don't know if that would be in the realm of. I feel like the LSD and the shrooms kind of give me everything I would need. So I don't stray far from them personally, but I don't know. I don't know what they're out there doing for other people. Just sliding around everywhere. Stick a thing underneath it and see if that helps. Done motorbikes, flown helicopters. It's a beautiful girl. Scuba dived in a Russian wreck. Fly a helicopter again, that was fun. Helicopters kind of wig me out. I'd still get in one. But compared to planes, no, something about helicopters seems a little bit sketchier. Scuba is similar in many ways? Really? How is scuba similar? Sorry, Edo, we're not quick enough to pick up your bits. I'm on a time trial over here, okay? I can only think about so much at once. I'm bad with underwater. I really like swimming, but I can't dive because I have really sensitive head pressure problems, and I get like instant migraine if I dive more than I want to say 5 to 6 feet underwater. If my head goes any deeper than that, it's guaranteed instant headache for me. I've got a very pressure sensitive noggin. I also get pretty much guaranteed headaches whenever I fly on a plane for similar pressure change reasons. And I am lucky enough to have storm-based migraines triggers. I get headaches when there's a big storm system moving in, also from the pressure change. This is deeply difficult to control. What I need is a custom pressurized suit that I can wear, a little bubble of its own special pressure that I can wear around like a bubble boy and not have to deal with the world's insane pressure changes. Cut me off from the real world, guys. That's what I need. Not sinus specifically, actually. It it doesn't bother me in my face. Like in here, I don't get any problems at all. Just like it's in the top of my head. Which I don't know what the cause of is, but always had pressure problems in the brain. In the brain area. I paint fast but sufficient. I try to. Working on my speed has been kind of one of my like main priorities in like recent months. So I've been trying to teach myself how to paint faster. Which is going so-so. I feel like I could be a lot faster if I could just change the way I paint just slightly, but I'm especially on Twitch, it's hard sometimes to like get it done and not just like sit and talk to people instead. So this scale though is really nice. It's a lot easier to get stuff done quickly when you're painting in this like little baby canvas instead of on a big boy. First paintbrush drop of the day. Butterfingersy as always. Well, thank you for that message effect, Oda. All those little hearts in there, very sweet, very lovely. Awesome superhero lore, pressurized suit fox lady that has super artistic skills. It's my superpower. I'm sensitive to pressure, but I can paint mushrooms pretty well. Probably it'll be my like villain origin story. Like so uncomfortable with headaches all the time that I had to live in a special pressurized home alone, and I could never go outside, and I spent too long away from society, and it turned me evil. Visualizing this suit. It's more Catwoman than Iron Lung. Oh, so it's not it's like body tight, it's like skin tight, it's not like a diving, like an old school metal diving costume. It's like futuristic and high tech. Most certainly. Very good pun, Outa. We're picking up what you're throwing down this time. Whether or not we approve is a different thing entirely. Okay, we got 20 minutes left on the timer for this guy. Still not sure. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm very skeptical of this method for some reason. I'm not sure why. When I was originally conceiving of this this Showdown concept, this way of painting struck me as potentially like something I would really like and would really be likely to carry forward as my like main method going forward. But now that I'm doing it, something about it doesn't seem right. I don't know. Having to like do the mental work to turn this into black and white isn't, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily going to be worth the extra thinking. I don't know. I'm skeptical. All I'm saying is I'm skeptical. It's kind of fun in black and white, but it's amazing somewhere. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate it. For basically half an hour. This much took us half an hour. I'm not too mad about it. What I gotta do now is I need a smaller brush. We're gonna switch to this little chewed up filbert. All my brushes are getting a little chewed up lately. And we're going to get some of the details put in on this stem. I can. I have a earbud in. So I can also hear what's playing. I used to just run what's it called? Like copyright free music while I was painting on Twitch. And that lasted like maybe 2 weeks of me streaming before I was like, I fuck this. I gotta listen to my own music. I can't keep doing this. So I figured out how to like split my audio, and now I listen to whatever I feel like listening to that day. Which I don't know, for what's it called? The viewers, you guys are screwed a little bit because my music taste is a little chaotic, and it certainly varies pretty wildly from stream to stream. Some days we've got on like hardcore music or emo music, and some days we have like soundtracks or like happy indie. I tend to gravitate towards putting EDM on stream a lot, just because it's an easy thing for me not to think about DJing. Just grab a like psytrance playlist or something and throw it on. Huge headphones. These headphones drive me kind of insane, honestly. They're not like they're just like cheap-ish Lenovo Bluetooth headphones, and they like do the trick. But I do find that they cut out really easily. Luckily, it doesn't seem to affect the music on stream when they cut out, but they do if I like just am not close enough. If I get up to walk to the kitchen, they cut out. But also when I'm just sitting here like a foot away from the dongle, they cut out, and I'm like, excuse me, I was listening to that. And I do have, when I game and sit on my computer when I'm not streaming, I use these open back over ear headphones, but they don't like to live in peace with my ears, with my headband ears, so I can't stream with them on. Look at assets and stuff. Found out last night both followage commands are failing. Oh, that's interesting. I've been neglecting that side of stuff, Outa, so I don't really blame you for falling behind on it. I've got like a long list of like setting up like sound commands and emotes that I want to make and stuff like that, but I just haven't been able to fit the actual making of any of this stuff into my schedule. I figure streaming and getting the art done is kind of more important than getting that stuff sorted out at this point, but it plagues me with a little bit of guilt every night, so. And I have a on my door over there, I have a like sticky note to-do list that's gotten sillily long. And every time I look at the length of the list, and I choose to do absolutely nothing to correct it, but I obtain just a small amount of guilt that I get to take with me wherever I go for the rest of the day. It's like a horrible little gift from me that solves no problems. Okay, so see, I'm trying to fix this like area here where I'm just pulling up paint from the underlayer. And it's not working because it's just pulling up paint from the underlayer. So I'm just gonna cover that all up and wait for it to dry like I should be doing. And move on to a different area in the meantime. Got some Lenovo earbuds, and yeah, the radio in them is very poor. Also got some very cheap ones from Banggood, which are very, very good for $8. Oh, interesting. Yeah, these ones we got on like a mega sale. They were supposed to be like $100 or $200 or something, but we got them for like 30 because there was like some like really huge deal they were having. And they do the trick. Like I said, their sound quality isn't great, but it's not like a garbage. It's not like that crackly, like you bought your headphones at the dollar store nonsense. At some point, I'll probably invest in better earbuds, but I'm wondering if like most of my issues with them cutting out are actually like Bluetooth problems on my setup and not on the headphones, because I have no onboard Bluetooth on this computer, so I have to have a dongle to have Bluetooth on this computer, which both takes up a USB spot, and also I just think it's just not a very good dongle. So, but you know, we live with it. We just out here living with it. You have to play your raid songs yourself. It's rough work. I don't even have a raid song. I have nothing for raids really. I have a like alert, but it doesn't even have its own alert. It's the same alert as my follow alert, just it says raid. It needs some work. I need to do some work on it all. Hey Snapback. How are you? It's good here. It's, you know, it's Sunday. We're painting. We're chilling and shit. We've got 9 minutes and 30 seconds left on the first round of this painting before we take a little breakies. We gave ourselves 45 minutes to start, which is decent. How are you, Snapback? What have you been up to? You been streaming? You been working on anything? Or are you just soaking up the long weekend? Chilling. Stream the raid call with me singing "I Will Survive" using a helium balloon seems to go down well. That's a kind of commitment I couldn't sign myself up for. I guarantee no one wants me singing on stream. I can guarantee that. The helium balloon part sounds fun though. Although with my myriad of sensitivities, I have a strange inkling that if I sucked down an entire balloon of helium, I would end up with a headache. But who knows? You never know until you find out. Maybe I gotta go to Party City. I gotta get me some balloons. I gotta run some experiments. Maybe I'd find my own voice less grating when I have to watch back my VODs if it was caked up on helium. Perhaps that's the move. Your keyboard, the @ symbol doesn't work. I guess you're gonna have to return your new keyboard. Broken and it's brand new? That's very disappointing. I hate when that happens. You streamed yesterday? Just chilling while you continue drawing? Yeah, I haven't lately been doing any art unless I'm streaming, and I think I've gotta take a couple more days during the week to sit and watch other people stream while I'm doing art. Because I feel like I'm not getting as much done as I could be because I don't do art on days when I don't feel like streaming. So I think what I need to do is I need to get a like secondary project going that I can be working on off stream so that I can get more overall accomplished without feeling too guilty about it. You want to hear me sing now? I don't know. I don't know if you want that. I've said before, I intend eventually, maybe, if I can swing it, to set up Rock Band so that I can stream playing Rock Band with Goldie. And if I figure that out at some point, then you'll hear it eventually. But I don't recommend it. I can tell you, I don't recommend it. You've messed up the settings somewhere. Oh, interesting. That's not good. That's just tough when like you realize like you were the one who like changed something, but you can't figure out what it is you changed. Struggle to start and finish one piece during a stream. Yeah, I feel like most of mine take more than one stream. Like it's rare that I do streams that like the entire piece gets done in one sitting. I've done like I think 2 Alla Prima oil streams that have been like that, but usually I'm like a 3-ish stream per artwork kind of individual. But yeah, I think the problem is like if I start a thing on stream, I feel like I don't want to work on it in case people wanted to see the entire process. So I don't want to work on it off stream because I feel like it might rob someone of being able to see like how I did a certain area or something. So I need separate pieces, stuff that I can work on without streaming that I won't feel guilty about working on. But I also have I just have like a bunch of other stuff that I like. I have on my to-do list. I have these like sewing projects that I need to get done that I've been putting off. I told myself I was going to get them done this weekend because I was hoping that this project, this medium showdown project, would have been done on Friday, and I would have had yesterday and today to work on my sewing projects. But then stream had to end early on Friday, so I didn't finish this one. And then on top of that, I got a headache yesterday and didn't stream yesterday, and also didn't work on any of my sewing projects yesterday. And so now we're just very behind schedule, which I guess is just how life works. It's hard to stay on schedule anywhere, but oil paintings take weeks, sadly, and you're conscious that some people may not want to see paint dry. Yeah, I've really managed to speed my process up a lot. I used to be like that, where all of my paintings were kind of long-winded. Because I used to oil paint not wet on wet. I would do like a million layers. And so yeah, you really do just literally have to watch paint dry a lot of the time if you're doing that. Whereas I think this like acrylic under oil method is going to help me a lot to speed that up. But I also think my like concept of how to paint and my standards and stuff has just moved around a little bit, and it seems like it works different for me now than it did. So we're 2 minutes away from the clock going off. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of this area in here put in. Surprisingly, my slowest medium has been gouache. I don't know why, but the couple times I've used gouache, it takes me so goddamn long to finish a painting. And I don't know why that is. But the like Hobbit hole that I worked on for a while took like so many streams. I was so done with it after the first stream, and it just went on and on and on forever. Catching up. I hope so. It's just a lot of like little things you just constantly forget about when you're painting. And then in your head, you're like, oh yeah, I can pump the end of this out in like an hour. I'll just stream and it'll be done. And then you like get in there and you start working on something and you're like, okay, I was overzealous. This is like a day's worth of work. Especially when you're when you're streaming and you get distracted talking to chat and just yapping and biding your time getting tea and haven't worked with oils a lot in the past, and so you're learning as you go along. My knowledge base of them was also really low. I did like your kind of style where like you do layers and you wait a long time between each layer back in high school. Oh, that's my time. That's my time up. Back in high school. And then I didn't touch them for a really long time. And then when I came back, I was like, I don't have that patience. So I started doing the like acrylic underpainting, finishing in oils. And that's been working for me. And I've done the 2 or 3 like alla prima oil styles. And honestly, like they didn't go as badly as I thought they would. Which I think is part of the fun for me of like doing these kind of experiments and stuff is that I end up coming up with opinions about methods that I didn't think were going to work for me, but then when I try them, I'm like, you know what? Actually, I think I can get on board with this. You just got to be kind of willing to have some flops, and you kind of have to be willing to accept the fact that your style might not necessarily come through in every medium at first. Not that I really have a definitive style. I kind of just paint what I'm looking at, and it looks like that at the end. Probably realistically, professional artists would probably tell me that I would benefit from honing more of a like actual style, but I kind of like work against that because like I like my paintings to be their own little guys and not necessarily to just all be related to one another because I'm trying to like copy my own style every time. I don't know. Studied sculpture and abstract. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that would be a bit of a change to do representational stuff from that. I find all of that stuff kind of like overlaps in terms of its like cross compatibility for skills. Like you're obviously gonna with sculpture still have a really good eye for shape and form and stuff like that. But translating that without the like motor skills of painting would be tough to get in there. Just an emote collage for Grumbly, and he called me obnoxious. Obnoxious. I don't know about obnoxious. I like your collages, Oda. I think they're lovely. I think they're sweet, and I think they're interesting collage-wise. I like them. I would never call your collages obnoxious. Unless you had some like crazy obnoxious emotes in there. I don't know. I don't know what kind of secret crazy annoying emotes you have in the backlog somewhere. Perpetual deflation of my persona. Don't know what I'd do without it. Very systematic approach to it. It's very admirable. It's truthfully interesting research. Yeah, thanks, Eva. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have I don't know, a weird relationship with art and artists and I don't know how it all goes down. And I'm still sorting it out, and it's nice to see it get sorted out, and for people on here to like understand where I'm coming from and kind of get what I'm going for, and to find like an appreciation in it as well. I do like to think of some of this stuff as a bit of a science that has like a perfect little methodology I could like get in there and uncover if I just do enough practice and enough research. But it's probably praise to a different church. Yeah, no one's praying to the church I'm praying to. As long as your work creates a reaction, then you've achieved the goal, whatever your work is. Yeah, that's fair. All right, guys, I'm gonna take a because the timer went off, so we've got an hour left. I don't think I want to move on to oils without getting the fine points on the down here. That you can see in the picture, there's like some skinny little pine needles, I guess they are little pine needles. I want to get those defined in before we move to oils. I want to get this little rock thing properly defined in before we move to oils, and I want to get the rest of this stump part defined in before we move to oils. And then we will start glazing and see what happens. I'm hoping that because we're kind of glazing that we won't need as much time for the oils. I'm going to need probably 10 minutes to do the spots on the cap. So that leaves us with 50 minutes. So I'll give myself like another 10 minutes maybe to try and get the details on this and the pine needles put in, and then we'll go straight into oil. So I'm just gonna take a break and grab myself a tea, run and pee while we wait for some of this dark area to dry for me, and then we'll get right back into it. Aiming for smiles rather than anger, though. Well, you're always gonna get a smile out of me out of it. I deeply appreciate them. I think they're lovely. And hey, Pops, happy Easter. Thanks, Pops. I'm that bunny girl today. It's bunny day for me. Enjoy your lurk, Oda. Yeah, I'm gonna be right back, guys. Just give me 5. I will be back shortly. Oh, I am back. What did I miss? What did I miss? Yeah, how you doing, Pops? You having a good day? You having a good Easter? Did you get any chocolate? Paint any eggs? Thank you. Thank you for that, Out. I thought you were lurking. I thought you were going for a lurk. What's all this then? What's all this giant snail and lovely collages if you're supposed to be on a lurk? Oh, it's displaying properly for me. Don't you worry. They always display well for me. I'm glad you guys like the snail. He's from a little painting I did of a snail and a moon for a little like paint night me and my friends had like a year ago or so. Over a year ago at this point. Sorry, I'm eating a cinnamon bun instead of painting. You guys are just gonna have to live with this. Had eggs, candy, and spend the day with the family? Lucky. That sounds really nice. You're forming an addiction. Well, it's an addiction that I fully support. Honestly, it's getting a little bit stale. I picked these up from an IKEA like a couple days back. They're losing their charm as the days go by. But my tummy was a grumbling, so I needed a bite of something. Yes, I see very clearly out of it you are no longer here. 2-day-old donuts better than 3-day-old donuts? That's fair. Look, as long as they're not like literally rock hard, and as long as they don't have a mold growing on them, it's still good. They're still good. It's fine. Sure, a good liar would be so much easier. Practice makes perfect. That's all I gotta say. Practice makes perfect. Tea is very hot. You used to eat stale donuts? Look, the donut's there, and I'm allowed to eat it. I'm gonna eat it. I don't care if it's stale. What's your donut chain of preference down there, Pops? Us Canadians, we're Tim Hortons pilled, so whenever I've gone to the States and I have to eat like Dunkin' Donuts as my donut offerings, it just feels very wrong. Oops, I forgot to start the timer. It's not good. We're painting illegally right now, guys. Timer, where's my timer? Okay, I'm gonna put on a 10-minute timer so that I stop myself from going overboard on the acrylic side of this. So I'm gonna do 10 minutes on the clock. It's a donut shop down the road in Washington State. Washington State? Is that what WA is? Washington? Where I lived, would go there all the time. There's a Dunkin' here, but we don't go to it. Haven't had a decent donut in a long time. Yeah, I had an okay donut at Dunkin' when I was in the States last. I think it was the powdered one. I really like powdered jelly-filled donuts, and Tim Hortons stopped carrying those ones in Canada for some reason. So I had one of those at Dunkin' Donuts. And I actually kind of liked it. But I also tried another one there that for some reason was like, it just tasted like fryer oil and had no like, it was so greasy and just tasted like stale oil and it was awful. And it made me deeply miss Tim Hortons in the moment that I was eating it. But even the Tim Hortons ones here have gone really downhill. But when I lived in the East Coast, there was a donut shop called Fortune Donuts in Halifax that I used to go to all the time, and they had excellent donuts. Kids that work the counter are useless. Yeah, that checks out. That absolutely checks out. Miss the family-owned ones. Yeah, we had a couple of those in PEI that we'd go to. A lot of them shut down though. COVID kind of obliterated some businesses out in the East Coast. There were a lot of Bacon Donuts, and that was the name of the family-owned donut shops across PEI. Bacon Donuts, and they lost a lot of them over the pandemic, which was really sad. Okay, press and play. We're gonna get this stuff painted in. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Try and get some of this. It's unfortunate, yeah. I feel like it did it to a lot of businesses. It's a real shame. Try and stay hopeful that that stuff will come back around, right? That we'll get to see the other side of this where those businesses start coming back in the next couple of years, but it's hard to say because the world's recessing right now pretty hard. You like the black and white? Pops, I was explaining earlier, I think before you arrived, that the method for this one is we're painting it black and white in acrylics, and then we're going to overpaint it into color with oils. So we're going to do thin glazes of oils over top of it to give it its color, and see if that works any better than the other methods. This is a technique that is traditional in oil painting called a grisaille. But obviously in traditional grisaille, your underpainting would also be done in oils. But it would be a black and white oil painting. But we don't have time for that. So we're doing our take on a grisaille, which is an acrylic-based grisaille with oil overpainting. And we'll see how it all pans out in the end. Ain't no one got time for that. Exactly. Ain't no one ever got any time for that. It's one of my kind of Achilles heels as a artist and as a crafter and a creator is that I'm a corner cutter. And that's not always a problem. Sometimes if you can find the exact corners that are worth cutting, it's actually a really good practice. But every once in a while, I cut corners just because I'm being lazy, and I know that there's another method I could be doing that would be turning out better, but I just get lazy and complacent, and I don't want to do it. But I would say that ain't nobody got time for that is kind of it becomes a bit of a slogan for me. Probably too much so. Probably I allow that as an excuse more often than I should. Did I see that chimera that you posted this morning? No, was it on the Discords? I actually haven't I've fallen behind on looking at the Discords lately. I usually only look at Discord when I'm on my computer. And I haven't been on my computer for the last couple of days really. Not since I streamed last, so I've missed some stuff, I think. I almost opened it before I started streaming today to like poke around and see what everybody was up to. And then I realized that the last time I did that, I spent like 2 full hours just like on Discord, like talking to people and not doing the things that I was supposed to be doing. And that I ended up pushing a stream that I was supposed to be starting back really far because I was being, you know, I was wasting time on Discord like you do. So I didn't open it. I told myself you can do that when you're done your stream. We'll only allow it after you've put the work in. I'll check it out though. I'm sure it's lovely. All business, yeah, that's right. Ain't got no time for fun. It honestly works pretty well for me as a system to like withhold what's it called, like little treats for myself. Like if I tell myself like, yeah, no, you can't eat that yummy snack until you've done the laundry or whatever. It works pretty well. I'm pretty reward driven of a person. But sometimes I'm too smart for my own good, and the part of my brain that says I'm an adult and I can have whatever I want whenever I want it takes over and decides that that's more of a truth than having to follow my own made up rules. Which is why I have an overly long to-do list on the door. Overly long indeed. Okay, now I just need a long script brush, which I think is in my oil painting brush bin somewhere. Hello, script brush. Where are you? Time I spend looking for you is time I'm not spending painting. That's not it. That's not the one I want. Yeah. Where is it? I thought I had a skinnier script brush than this. I'm gonna hit pause on this. I don't believe finding my script count as time. I should have gotten it ahead. Is it in here somewhere? This one, maybe? Yeah, one of these will probably work. Okay. Try to stay as healthy as I can. Just your 2 cents. Yeah, that's good advice, honestly. Okay, found my script brush. I'm going to put these little guys in. I got a minute and a half. And then we're going to stop the timer. We are going to add we're gonna get rid of all this acrylic nonsense and we're gonna get the oil stuff set up. And then we just have to put a couple more darks in here. Almost out of time, I think. Cutting it close. Need here. Okay. Oh. It's timer time. It's timer time. Okay. Okay, we're gonna let this dry. I'm gonna have a tea. We can clean some of this out of the way. Make sure I rinse these guys good. Clean them out thoroughly after. But now we can send the stuff away. Cover up the acrylic palette and send it away. And what do we need? We need these. I guess I should select which brushes I'm going to use. Maybe guy, crumbly guy, and brush out for blending if we need it, and maybe this guy. I would like that one. With that, I don't know what happened to my. I had a detail brush in here that I was using for. I must have taken it back to acrylic land. Sure, you? Yeah, well, that'll work. That will work. Just grabbing the oil paints. Hopefully these are still usable and I don't have to put new ones down. I'm gonna have to put new blue down by the looks of it. Some blue in there. Ouch you get. Ouch you get. Ouch you get. How's the glare on these? Can I improve this any by moving this lamp around any? Seems all right. Okay, so what do we have? An hour left. We did 10 minutes, so 50 minutes. We have 50 minutes left. I'm gonna wait for just a minute until this is good and properly dry. I don't want to put the oil on top of it until I am sure that it is. Just gonna aim a little fan at it for the time being. Drink my tea and have some cinnamon bun while we wait. I'd also take this time to move you guys. My monitor position is kind of annoying me today, so if I can straighten you guys out so that you're here, it might be better off for me. Bend, bend, you stand, bend. Stay plugged in too. It's a delicate process. Okay, I'm gonna try you guys over here and see how that works. Sorry, don't look at the screen while I'm doing this. trying to drink more water today than I usually do. I have been really bad lately for not drinking water during the day and getting my only liquid intake from tea, which is probably not ideal. Probably not ideal. Really interested to see how this overlay turns out. I'm hoping it'll be extremely quick and that the details in the acrylic will just come through with a wash over top of them, and that I won't have to actually finesse a lot of detail in the oil. Whether or not that's what's going to happen or not, I don't know. But it's what? Almost 6. 5:40. Okay. Making decent time. I've got time today, so I'm not in a like huge rush to finish streaming, so. Oh, I wonder if my other, what we're doing this, I wonder if my other phone has enough charge yet. 27%. Yeah, all right. I'll switch it out and hope for the best. How am I gonna do this? Don't look at the screen if you're gonna get motion sickness. You don't look, okay? There. This one's zoomed in. There. Side. And then we trade this with what? 2. Maybe. There we go, that's better. Then I can turn this off. There, and turn this off. Okay. I think that's better. Yeah, this one definitely, it's so weird. My new phone, it should have a better camera, but this one's camera, my old one's camera is just better. The fidelity on this is definitely better than it was a minute ago. I'm not crazy, right? Hopefully, the, hurls. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's not my fault you got sensitive little motion sickness, tummy. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the battery on this lasts. I can switch it back if it dies on us, but I think it's plugged in, so it should be fine. It just like, sometimes it like plugged in, it stays steady, and sometimes when it's plugged in, it like slowly depletes if it's being used, so emotion sickness. Yeah, I've had a bit of that in the past too. Okay, I'm just gonna finish my tea before we move on. Right, and I need timer 50 minutes. Tea done. One more bite of cinnamon bud. Very sticky indeed. Okay. Seems like it's totally dry, so. I'm gonna press play on the timer, and we're gonna go in with those oils. I hope this is all still wet because I didn't test it. I did not test it. 50 minutes on the timer. Go. I'm gonna start just by. Ooh, it's pretty thick. It's wet, but it's thick. I'm gonna start by getting the background in. Oh, I don't like that. Sorry, I oiled this down way too much, and now it looks like it's gonna drip. Just holding it upside down so that it doesn't drip over the mushroom while I spread it. Sorry. That oil color is just so like rich and lovely and buttery and deep compared to the like chalky matte finish of the acrylics. Crazy how that looks so different. Okay, what color are we looking at in the background here? This area down here, we need some orangey tone. I'm definitely gonna need more in the realm of linseed oil. It's my linseed oil. Bell going off. See, I covered up my reference with you guys at some point when I was moving things around on my computer. Get you guys out of the way. Ouch you get. Ouch you get. Okay, can you stop shaking and making a racket? All right, we need a bit of blue and a bit of yellow over here to make this greenish tealish color. a bunch of linseed to that to try and thin it all down. And then we are going to put it here. Nice thin coat. Too green still. Needs a bit more blue, I'd say. And we're also going to add this to this entire area. I honestly kind of have low hopes for this because in traditional grisails, you layer these up with many layers of washes. And I have a funny feeling that the many layers part might be very important. I have a feeling this is actually going to end up looking rather flat. And we're going to have to do a lot of work with the colors ourselves to bring it up to where we want it to be. And that we're not going to be able to get away with just a couple speedy little washes. Why are you so loud today? Very shaky. Postal Service are so good. I love the Postal Service Fox, man. I'm a huge Death Cab fan as well. Not so much their newer stuff, but Plans and Transatlanticism are two albums that I have never stopped listening to since they came out. Plans is probably one of my like top 5 all-time albums. But I like the Postal Service compared to Death Cab because there's like a joy in the instrumentation and even in his vocals that is a little less serious and somber than with Death Cab. It's just got good vibes. It's just good vibes all around. You agree? It's one of those things that I also really appreciated both the Postal Service and Death Cab because they were like bridge bands when I was a teenager, where you would have friends who were like indie kids and you would have friends who were emo kids. And Death Cab and the Postal Service were like that great bridge between the people. That everybody listened to Death Cab. Everybody liked Death Cab. You could all relate, no matter which scene you were in. I really appreciated that about them. They acted sort of like a gateway into emo for a lot of people, I think. The only emo band you listen to are American football? Interesting. Why American football specifically? What got you into them? That's actually one emo band that I never spent a lot of time with. But I listen to a lot of like American football adjacent emo bands. A lot of the like Midwest emo. I kind of am into. Modern baseball and Hot Mulligan are definitely mainstays for me, and I think a lot of people think of them as kind of adjacent to American football. Okay, I'm going to put in the what's it called? The red. So I don't want to run out of time on the stem. Like I did working too much on the stem a couple paintings ago. Love the way that worked out. Go in with the red. This may just be our most vibrant mushroom cap yet. Some red. Can't point out something specific, you just liked their sound. That's fair. I should give them a listen. I feel like there are a lot of bands that are on my radar, but I've never really given a listen. And if I did, they'd end up on the roster, but just never got around to it. 34 minutes left. I can't tell if I feel like I'm strapped for time or if the time is going well. I should have written which medium I was doing for each of these on the back of them. I'm assuming I'll be able to remember and tell just by looking at them which one is which. Wouldn't it be funny? After all of this, I go to compare them and I don't know which one is which. Wouldn't it just be a trade roll? I might have discovered them during your math rock phase. Math rock. The days of math rock. Key. Just get a little bit more yellow mixed in there. Honestly, maybe still just a little bit more right in the center. More yellow, more contrast. Okay. Interesting. The cap, I think, is turning out to be the brightest cap that we have painted. Yet somehow the background is the most muted of any of the pictures that we've done. Okay, I'm gonna put some red here. The way only the cap is not black and white now looks kind of nice. Yeah, the contrast on it honestly was really interesting. If this wasn't a comparison trial where they like needed to all be aiming for the same goals, I actually would have been tempted to kind of leave it like that, but unfortunately he needs to answer all of our scientific little questions. So we have to make him as vaguely congruent as possible. How much time we got left? 27 minutes? Okay. I should put in the white caps. The white spots on the cap. Before I feel rushed in doing that. Okay. I need a little tiny brush. And we need to mix up a bluish white tone. Okay. Let's start with this bottom. Move you guys a little bit. Start with this bottom little white bits. I think part of the problem is because we are doing a lot of these in washes. The red cap red I added a fair bit of linseed oil to wash it over it faster and easier and thinner. But that means that a lot more of it is getting picked up on my brush every time I try and poke one of these dots in. Which means I'm probably going to have to clean my brush after every single spot on this. And I think they are going to be a lot messier looking than the other ones. part takes a lot of concentration. Hey, Senex Savoya. How you doing today? Happy Sunday. Your weekend as well. I've got 20 minutes left on this mushroom painting. Wake from a nap, wasn't supposed to sleep. A cat nap. Did the nap make you feel better or worse? Sometimes I have a nap and I'm like, ooh, I needed that. I feel so great now. And then other times I take a nap and I wake up feeling like absolute death. And I'm like, how come it worked last time? How come this nap didn't end with me feeling energized? All these little tiny spots are so annoying. All right, mix up a color for shadow. I'll just input a couple shadows underneath some of this. Try and add a little bit of that dimension back in with them. Just a little bit. Okay. I am, yeah. This is the last one. It's our final boy, and we've only got 17 minutes left on him. So once he's done, I will take a break to stop staring at them for a minute, and then I will come back with all of them set up, and we can decide who will win. I have a little theory. I got a little theory inside on who might be the winner, but we'll see if it's true when we get to that point. Okay, 17 minutes. What does this need? Okay, we need orange in the bottom. This needs to be orange. Just heard my phone go off. Oh goody, Goldie's on its way home. So he will be here to witness the end of this showdown with us all. We can get his opinion on the lot of it. I definitely wouldn't say that this method has been any faster than the other methods. I thought that maybe using washes would mean the end portion of this would be pretty quickly. But I don't know, it feels like I still kind of have to put a lot of these details in kind of by hand. So I don't particularly feel like I've saved any time. With 12 minutes left, I am going to assume that we kind of ended up using about as much time as we did with the other mediums, so. The sad news is that I think the answer is going to be that none of them were particularly faster or slower than the others. Which answers very little questions. Okay, we got 9 minutes. Let's tell one of the considerations. What's the main one you're paying attention to? Lighting, pigment, color. It's just, there's two things that are the most important to me. One is what is enjoyable for me to be painting. And the other thing is end product. Which one actually looks the best at the end? And in concept, time plays a factor in that we limited ourselves to the same amount of time for every medium so that they have a fair shot. So for example, I think the all acrylic one probably would look better if I gave it more time. So time is being factored in. Because ideally I want to figure out what method works the best for me to paint where I get results that are the best ratio of being the best looking they could be without me putting an unnecessary or like overly too much time in. And that is also enjoyable for me to paint. In concept, since they were all painted by me, the like composition and the lighting and stuff should all look pretty much the same in all of them. I would hope, but I guess we'll find out when we stick them all beside each other in a minute. It is a little bit unfair of an advantage, though, when you consider the fact that every time I paint this, I am becoming more and more familiar with the subject matter, and the method in which I use to paint it gets slightly more and more refined. So I'm assuming each subsequent one I've kind of gotten a little bit faster, because I kind of know what I'm doing from the get-go. So there's a little bit of bias in there that can't really be avoided, but I'm trying to give them all their best shot, separate from any biases, but I can say I am a little bit biased already. Okay. Pretty much done here, which I think is the first time I'm kind of running out of things to work on it before the timer has gone off. The other ones felt like I could have kept fussing with them for a lot longer. Whereas this one's feeling like I could have walked away from it pleased enough, probably for the last 10 minutes. And I've just had this extra time to kind of go through and micromanage stuff, which is nice. I do like to have the ability to micromanage. Two and a half minutes. I am just going to add a little bit of finesse to this thing. this miscellaneous background thing. Slightly more pulled back on this red thing. Hello.
Hello.
Goldie is home. Just in the nick of time. Okay. Not terribly mad at any of this. We got 40 seconds left. Hey.
Hello.
How are you? How's work?
It's good. How are you?
All right. Did I finish or start any spring cleanup around the yard or house? We live in an apartment now. We sold our house last year. So we don't have a yard, which is great. And I would say we've done a little bit of spring cleaning around the apartment, but not terribly much. It could use some more for sure. But I did pack away some of my like winter jackets and things like that, so 5 seconds. Okay, I think that's it. That's all we can do.
Was this the black and white like monochrome
Was,
background?
yes,
Wow.
indeed.
This turned out really good.
Thank you.
This is very nice.
It was strange to paint it this way. I did feel like I had more time.
Interesting.
For like the last 10 minutes, I've been able to just kind of fuss with it.
Yeah.
When I didn't feel like the other ones I felt like when we stopped, I could have kept going.
Right.
Whereas I'm at the point now where it's like, I can't really keep going. It's done.
I see.
So I think it is a faster method, but it's
Nice.
also like I've painted this so many times. Am I just getting faster?
It's tough to say.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. It looks really good though.
Thank
Colors
you.
are really nice. I didn't expect it to be so vibrant with like a black and white base.
The
like
interesting
that.
thing is that I think the camp is the most vibrant of the ones that I've done, which is interesting. And the rest of it seemed extremely subdued partway through, and then the cap was like so punchy.
Right.
And then I slowly built color up on the rest of it, and it seemed better. But it didn't really like feel like working in a true grisaille because like I didn't make this palette up to have specifically transparent pigments.
I see.
So it felt kind of similar to the previous painting I did, which was color acrylic underneath
Right.
oils. So I still felt like I was putting detail in with the oils instead of just color in with the oils, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Which I thought it would be more like all the detail is in, you just like whoosh, it's colored now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that didn't yield for a particularly like interesting variant in colors, so I had to go in and kind of slowly like add more everywhere anyway. So it didn't really like, I don't know. It could have been really fast, but it didn't end up looking right, so I had to fuss with it, but it's still faster than the other ones. I don't know. There's lots to think about. Because we're finally done them all, I'm gonna take a little break for 5 minutes so that I can pee and grab myself a tea. And I'm gonna clean up my brushes and all of this mess on my table so that I can bring all of them over and we can have a little powwow about what worked and what didn't.
Cool.
So I'll be back in 5, you guys. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, guys. I am back. I gotta figure out how to get all of these in camera for you. I can barely line them up on my desk. So, let's see. I don't know how much zooming out I can do with this before it loses fidelity. None. Okay. Good to know. Very good to know. Bear with me if you guys are, what's it called? Motion sickness tendencies. I'd, maybe look away for a second. Out and at I'm talking to you. Okay, I think we can get them all in like this. And just gonna get them in like this and not have all of this glare. Okay, let's see what we can do. What can you guys see right now? What? Okay, let's get this out of here. And then this can... Art cam. Here's the filter land. Filter crop. No crop. That's fine. Okay. What is this? Oh, I see. It's that. Get out of the way. Okay, guys, this is the best I can do to get them all in there at once for you. Now, what do we think? What do we all think? What do we all have to say about this? I'm actually genuinely a little bit worried in this moment that I don't know which one is which. I didn't write it on the back of them or anything, so I could always go back and check the VODs if I like truly couldn't figure it out.
Oh, sorry, that's my head.
Right, you can do whatever you want with your head. I don't know.
So, oil?
Yeah.
Acrylic.
Yes. Black and white, oil.
Color
acrylic with oil over top.
And the
water
long
mixable,
dry.
or yeah, long dry acrylics.
Okay.
Correct. That is correct. They all honestly kind of look the same.
The differences are subtle for sure. And it's the biggest differences are differences in color, which have less to do with the medium and more to do with just what paints you had on hand. So
yeah, that's very true.
Now that the oil is more dry, it loses a lot of the depth that set it apart from the acrylic.
Right, these two?
Yes.
So yeah, this is the oil versus acrylic, which were the first two that we did. Closer for you guys. And you're right that they're a lot more similar now that the oil is dried down over the course of the week. It still has like a little bit more.
A little bit, yeah. The black is still better in the oil, I think.
The thing is that like all of them would get varnished.
Right.
Even the oil ones would.
Right.
So they would get a like depth and a shine that the varnish would give all of them. That would kind of even that playing field, even if it maintained. But I don't know. It's interesting because generally speaking, I think historically when I've been fussing over my art, I tend to prefer my art that is refined up close, that is precise up close and isn't very brushstrokey. It's very like every line and every little patch of shading is done with extreme precision.
Okay.
Which I would say probably if I'm judging it on that criteria, I would say maybe this...
I think the one you just did.
Yeah, stands up the best for that as a concept.
I think the foreground has the
Um,
most fidelity in that one.
But that being said, that being my like traditional like thought processes of judgment, there's something about the like up close simple stroking on the first acrylic one that I actually just really like for some reason. And I'll show you guys these two up close. So this is the one on the right is the first one we did. And the one on the left is the last one we did. So the one we just did. And if you look up close, this is the one we just did. All of the shading and the lines have pretty good fidelity. They're kind of soft, they blend nicely. There's not a lot of skipping on the paint. But the first acrylic is very up close. You can kind of see the strokes have a lot of texture. They're broken. There's no smoothness or fidelity in any of it when you get up close. But despite that, I don't know, I kind of like it. What do we think? I'm confused.
Is that something you would still like if it were translated to other pieces?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think the two most recent are the most successful.
These two on the left.
Yeah.
Very left. Maybe I can put them in order from the order in which they were done.
Sure.
Oh, can you slide that guy over? And then that guy goes in between, then that one, then this one, and now this one. Okay. Yes, so that's the order in which they were done. I don't know. I'm confused. I thought that this would give me a lot of answers. I don't have any answers. I'm very confused. I don't know that this solved any of my questions. They all took the same amount of time. I can say with absolute certainty that this was hell on earth to paint.
You had a bad time.
It just was not enjoyable at all, for more reasons than one. I can't, like... Yeah, there's really not a good way to light these so that you guys can, like, really see all the subtleties at once. But yeah, I don't know. With acrylics, did I use hard or soft? Hard or soft what? Brushes? Or are you talking about, like, long dry or, what's it called? Like, layers of acrylics? Because, yeah, I'll reiterate, now that we're done, what the differences between all of these are. So, we started out with standard normal acrylics. We did this one in layers. So, we used thin layers of acrylics, let each layer dry before moving on to the next layer. Hard body and soft body. They were hard body. But it's the difference is kind of negligible because I water my acrylics down a lot when I use them. So they function a lot more like soft body acrylics, even though I'm using tubes of hard body acrylics. So that is, but I water them down with water and not medium. So, which isn't good practice or whatever. This is what I do though. So technically it's hard body acrylics, but I use them very much like soft body acrylics. So yeah, the first one was done in acrylics, thin layers, very watered down, built it up. That was it. Second one, straight oils, alla prima, one go, thickly put on, tried to blend as best that I could, but I think we did end up with a bit of like muddying in this one because it was done oils alla prima, which means trying to figure out my shapes on this one was very difficult. And a lot of the under oils did kind of get up into some of the colors in this one a lot, which I had to actively fight while I was working on this piece. This one is the long dry golden open acrylics, which are acrylic paints that have a medium added into them that makes them dry basically over the course of 24 hours instead of right away. So they kind of function like oils, but are acrylics. This was hell on earth to work with. It was a sticky mess. I had a different color palette for this one than I did for the other ones because my set didn't have ultramarine blue in it, which is why tonally this one stands out a lot compared to the others. I had to use a phthalo blue shade instead of ultramarine for this one, so it kind of shows. That being said, I kind of like it. I kind of
So
like
do
the
I.
weird blue
I'm
tone in it.
surprised at how matte, like how black the black turned out, because when you were putting it on the page, it looked so purple.
I agree. I was worried about getting a dark enough black with the palette that I had, but it actually stands up pretty well to the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some glare right now, which is like changing how dark they are, but they all basically look like their backgrounds got like a pretty true black out of the palettes I was using. The ratio between working with the paint and liking the results. I don't know. That's the problem we're currently struggling with, is which is the best of most worlds.
Yeah, what gives you the most bang for your buck?
Yeah, and then these two at the end were both done with the same concept in mind, which is that we did the underpaintings in acrylics, and then we topped those acrylics with oils. The first one here was done with the acrylic underpainting being not very precise in detail, but in color. So all of the color blocking was done beforehand, and then all of the finesse in shading and detail was added with oils afterwards on top of the colored base. This one was done in acrylics in black and white first, and then the color was added with oils afterwards. I spent time adding detail to this one in acrylics that I didn't with this one. And I'm not sure that I needed to, or if doing it did help or not. But I don't know. Honestly, like, I thought I would look at these all and be like, there's a winner, clearly. Why would I ever do any of these other things? But they all kind of came out fine. I don't know. If I'm being fussy, I think this area in the oil painting is a mess. It lacks the fidelity that the other ones do, because it's hard to control oil on oil and get saturation up. I'd also say that the finesse on the cap is a little muddy compared to the other ones. I'm tempted actually to say that the Alla Prima oil painting is the worst of all of them.
I think I would agree.
Which I don't know. I don't know if everyone would agree with that or not, but I think it's the worst of them.
Just little things too, like the background highlight right here is so orange.
Right. You can see in this one a lot where, because I was working oil on just the orange underpainting, it was really hard to build up without going really thick, and that means that in some areas you can just see the underpainting a lot more. You can see in this line here that orange underpainting, and here the orange underpainting is coming through, and in a bunch of areas down in the bottom the orange underpainting is just kind of sneaking its way through. And yeah, there's like a thickness and a chunkiness to the surface of the painting that isn't quite as romantic as the other ones are in person. But I will say that the blend on the acrylic one's background is honestly the worst. Like this is a mess. This guy is a complete mess in this one.
You also have a like highlighted area right here.
Yeah, so that's actually in the reference, and I did it on the first one and didn't like it, and then didn't do it for the subsequent ones because I noticed that I didn't like it. But you can kind of see that in the reference there's a triangle almost above it.
I'm glad she didn't include that in the subsequent one.
Yeah, that was a personal choice. So I don't necessarily, I wouldn't blame that on the acrylics, because that was a decision I changed on the other ones, that this one got a disadvantage in because it came first. But I don't know. Suggest removing one by one by whatever reason for it. If I was going to do that, I would throw this one out immediately, just because it was an absolute nightmare to work on, and I had no fun making it whatsoever. So this guy would go at the end of the road. I think he'd be the worst one.
Outcast.
I think the Alla Prima one would go next because I think it is the least successful of them all. Uh-oh. So he would go bye-bye. And then we're just left with these three, which... I don't know. I think after that, I'd probably outcast the acrylic.
I think the acrylic or this one.
This one I really enjoyed the methodology. Like, I enjoyed the steps making this one. I think more than the acrylic. So I think because I liked
Doing it more.
the control and the like execution more on like how to actually like physically make it happen, I think I'll keep this one and I would get rid of the acrylic, which just comes down to these two. And now
it's tough to gauge because the luster on this one is so severe right now. I feel like
it's giving it a it's cheating it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's giving it a little cheat code.
It's giving it a little cheaty poo.
Oh, come on now. Can't undo the arm. I don't know. I can't do it from that angle. Yeah, it just kind of comes down to these two then. Here's the problem with the final two. Better lighting. I like them both. I think, gun to my head, I like the latest one better. That being said, I'm not convinced that the method is what made it better.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, you were talking about the precision of the strokes, right? And that's part of what makes it successful. But it's the exact same mediums. The mediums shouldn't have any bearing on that because it was the same between the two of them. It was
Acrylic and oil.
acrylic, right? So the only difference you should be judging between these two is the colors.
Which is also a mixed bag because I think there's a vibrancy in the stump and the stem of the mushroom that I think is more successful in this one. But I think the cap is more successful in this one.
I think the more muted tones of this one are more successful.
Interesting.
In the stem and the stump.
Ooh, that's interesting.
There's a lot of blue on the one on the left. And it doesn't feel like a stylistic choice like this one does. Where it's very blue.
Previous three give you an advantage to bring the practice into the last one. That's the thing, is like it's really hard to tell with this what percentage of any of this can really be attributed to the medium and not just like other little factors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like every single one I did, I had practice from the previous ones so that I was doing it faster because I was familiar with the subject matter and I knew what system to be using.
Yeah.
And knew what mattered more to spend my time on. So it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of a moot point at the end, which is very disappointing results to me.
I think you're still able to glean like workflow from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know the long dry acrylics are just not fun to work with. And you said you had a better time doing these two than you did just the straight acrylic or the oil.
Yeah, that's true.
And if at the end of the day you have the same output with all the mediums, workflow and color are really the only two variables left that you need to judge.
Yeah, that's true. There's so many mushrooms down.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with all these mushrooms?
Lots of mushrooms.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these mushrooms. I will say that I felt like by the end of the hour and 45 minutes, I had more time today.
It's so weird.
And I don't know why.
Weird.
I don't know why it came together so much faster. Anonymous. That's 2 from you today, Anonymous, you sweetie.
So generous.
For that fox man, no less. Thank you dearly, Anonymous. You could fancy a mushroom or two. Honestly, I wish I had like a big bowl of fried mushrooms to eat right now. That would go so hard. Hey, Odinette, welcome back in from your lurk. What do you think? Give me your opinion, Oda. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. We're done. We have so many mushrooms. They're lying all over the place. There's so many of them. We can't make any decisions. We've learned nothing. We've gleaned nothing from this mess. Does one of these give you a better vibe than the others? You had a mushroom omelet this morning? Lucky. I didn't get to have any eggs this morning because I learned that I'm all out of eggs and the Easter Bunny didn't even bring me any. They lose their magic. Yeah, they've lost all of their magic qualities. Fungus month. Every month is fungus month for me. I think what I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to photograph them. If not, I don't really have the daylight to do it today. I like to photograph all my art in natural light because it tends to work out better for me. But I'm definitely going to photograph them and then upload them somewhere. Probably to Reddit and to Instagram. I might lurk around in some other artists' discords and beg for opinions and see if there's like if everybody comes back with a like, well, obviously that one's better, then it would be really interesting to know. But this one? Yes. Goldie pointed that out too, that he wasn't as into the vibrancy on the log here. This one is also very blue, but I will say that this one is because we didn't have ultramarine blue in our palette, so this one is slightly off for different reasons, because it was a phthalo blue instead of an ultramarine like the other 4 were. It's also interesting, just for me, the things that like look slightly different about all of them. Like I took a lot of liberties on how high up to place this like little nub. Now like this one's halfway up the stem, this one's like near the bottom. It's kind of all over the place. This one's like thick and chody at the top, the base of it.
Yeah,
There's like this guy's like this like
the
little slender, skinny guy. It's got like curve to him.
Little twink mushroom in the center.
4 is nice. Blur background to focus foreground. I see. Number 4, is that 1, 2, 3, 4? This one? Is this the one you're referring to? This one is the first one we did actually. This is the standard acrylics. Opinion, what has the best shadow under the mushroom head? The interesting thing is I think some of them I didn't go hard enough on, and now that I'm squinting at the reference image, I think could have gone value-wise darker. Like I think this one underneath is too light. This one is too light. So I think this one is the most. These two
That
are
and the
probably the
acrylic,
most
yeah,
successful. Which is, I think, underneath this area in that actual reference image is very saturated. Maybe I should bring you guys back up the picture. Desktop. Where are you, little guy? Okay, well, yeah, no, that's fine. Just make it unreasonably large. That's cool. Can I, like, size this to... Where is transform? There we go. Better. Yeah, so there's the picture. You can see that in the actual reference, this this stem area right here in the reference is darker than I gave it on almost all of these, which is something I'm surprised I didn't catch until now, having done 5 of these. But I think what was happening is I got very distracted by the fact that the tone in it is very orange. Like, if you look into it, it's a very saturated shadow. It has a lot of color in it, and I think I got distracted by how orange it was and wasn't thinking about the value system. I was thinking about the color system, which is interesting. Scale him down, sneak him in there with all the other guys. Spot the fake. Best shadow is 3. This one. Interesting. Consistency is incredible, though. Not just similar, but a spread of mediums. Well jobbed you. Thanks, Outa. I appreciate that. I'm honestly really surprised they're all so similar. I thought they wouldn't be. I genuinely thought they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I thought they would look really different. I thought that at the end I'd be like able to pick simply based on the style of one of them being more my thing.
Right.
But they just kind of look the same, which is strange. So, I don't know. Very underwhelming results for me. Very underwhelming indeed. But sometimes you just do the work here, run the experiment, and you don't get any answers, and it's very concerning. Like, inconsistencies in mushroom cap are interesting too. Some of them are like shapely, some of them aren't. This one's an uggo. This one's cap's an uggo. I don't like the cap on this one. He's an uggo. He got hit with the ugly stick.
Body shame that cap.
I think he's probably got the nicest cap. This one here. I think that's the nicest cap, personally. This one's okay. Which is weird, because I was, when I did this one, I was complaining about struggling because the little white spots were picking up way too much of the oil paint underneath. But honestly, it reads kind of okay now that I'm seeing it finished. They all kind of, like, are imprecise in the caps if you, like, look really close at them, but... Which one gives you the most paintedly vibe for you? Oh, like, painterly? Like, which one, like, looks... That's a hard one for me because I'm struggling, I think, to separate realism from success in my mind lately. I want to paint with more stylization and more painterly, but when I have a reference photo that I'm directly referencing, it's really hard for me to, like, zone in to a big picture instead of minute details. Oh, well. Ay. There goes another camera. Another one bites the dust. One second, guys. I have an alternate. You're just gonna have to give me 1 second. It's plugged into. I'm so tired of this camera. It, like, has a plug. It's plugged in, but it's like port is crap, and so it doesn't know that it's plugged in some of the time. There's no hope for it. I don't know. Stay put. This camera's heavier than the other one. Oh. It's not strange, it shows mastery. Thanks, Outa. I really appreciate it. It's frustrating for me because obviously I'm doing this as a like experiment that I'm trying to get answers from, and I haven't gleaned answers. But if the answers is about like it doesn't matter what medium I use, it's just gonna be fine anyway, then like I guess that's a good enough answer. Fusion. Hi Fusion, welcome in. First time chatter and all. How are you? I look nice, thank you. I'm usually a fox girl. But we're a bunny girl today, because it's Easter, you know. Battery time, yeah. This look like it's plugged in. It's plugged in, but it's dead now. All right, Fusion. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it just like a little bit less risque than that, or you're gonna get a mod upset. I'll give you a warning. We tolerate a lot over here, but you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it. You know. You're gonna get banned. You're gonna get banned, bro. Ox indeed. Indeed.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not looking at shit, mate. We're over here talking about mushrooms. And I hate to break it to you, but if you're not here to talk about mushrooms, you're not gonna find what you're looking for. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. I'm assuming you're getting in trouble now, so it's out of my hands. It's out of my hands. But anyway, back to the mushrooms. We didn't learn what we wanted to learn from these, but I will say that going forward, I think my outcome from this is that I'm going to start trying to do my paintings in base acrylics and finishing them in oils. Now we're going to move forward with that as my medium for the time being and see how that pays off when I'm working on a more, ban the shit out of them. Ban the fucking shit out of them. Get them out of here. Send them to hell.
I'm weirded out.
You get one warning. You don't listen to the warning, you go to hell. People are insane, man. Absolutely insane. That's the worst. That's the worst we've had, though.
Yeah,
Congratulations to him, because that's the most degenerate bullshit we've had so far. On this, the day of Christ's return. Yay. Actually, aye. Hey, Bonds, how are you? We just dealt with a degenerate removed permanently from my chat who thoroughly distracted my critiques on these mushrooms. You're coming in at the end of this, that we're basically done here and have gleaned very little of value from this entire experiment. Beef curtains. Jeez, out and out. You're looking to get banned next, I think. But yeah, we've I think I'm pretty confident in my opinion of saying that I believe this one is the winner. I think this is the winner.
I'm excited to see
He's
how
the number 5, he's the winner.
how it looks once it's dried off.
Yeah, that's fair. I could also well, I can't varnish the oils, but I could varnish the acrylics and see if that made a difference. But I don't think it would, honestly. They'd all eventually get varnished and have the same, I think, vague depth, which is just like it's gonna come out in the wash, I think.
Right.
But another perspective is have a sleep and a fresh look. See, yeah, I definitely will come back to it tomorrow and maybe try and scramble in my brain what like it took to make each of them and try and just like get an innate response from each of them.
Right.
And see if one of them from afar that I see like across the apartment and I'm like, that one's good.
Yeah.
And then I like figure out which one it is and maybe it would give me some answers. Great work on the shrooms. Thanks, Bonds. We're trying to figure out what we learned here, but we didn't learn very much, I don't think. I am, like I said, I'm gonna photograph them. I'm gonna post them to a couple places. I'm gonna post them to Reddit and to some Discords and Instagram for sure, and see if the public has any differing opinions on a lot of it. The problem is that I think they're so similar. I think a lot of people would be like, "What differences? Like, they're fine. They're all the same." But I don't know. What now? What do we do now? I've been so zoned in on painting these damn mushrooms. I have no idea what to do with myself now that I'm done. So I have the next project that I want to work on. I have a trio of 3 paintings in a set that need to get finished before June-ish. Ideally, I need them to be done and complete and varnished by August, which means they have to be finished before June for them to be dry enough for me to varnish before August. So I need to get these 3 paintings out. The problem is the last time I went to the art store near my apartment to try and pick up boards to paint them on, they were out of the boards that I needed. And the guy said he was placing an order and they should be back in stock, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What
are the boards called?
Masonite. It's that first one. Yeah, I think. And then it was the second largest.
24 by 30. Notify me when back.
Okay, so they still do not have them. I mean, like, I could... The other problem is none of the other stores in town, like, I could drive somewhere, but they don't have them in the right size, and so my only other option is to buy, like, a larger scale and go to, like, Home Depot or something and cut them back. Although, we're going to my parents' house.
I feel like that's the move.
We're going to my parents' place this week, and all of my woodworking tools are at my parents' place. So while we're in Barrie at my parents' place, we'll pick up boards in Barrie, and that way I have access to my table saw so that I can cut them down to size. Problem solved. Okay, that's good. So by next week, I'll have boards, and I can get started on this trio. Consistency is great. You feel the middle one speaks to you more. This middle one or this middle one? If you say this one, that's very interesting, because this is the first one we did. And is honestly, like, he kind of stands out compared to the other ones in a couple ways. But yeah, if the bottom middle is the one you're talking about, that's the standard acrylic. He's a little messy up close. Like, you can see that area is not great, and the bottom area is a little bit of a mess up close. But despite that, he kind of holds up, which is why I think I have, like, a soft spot for him. But yeah, so that trio is something that I'm not going to be painting from exact reference. I basically am trying to do a trio of paintings, one to represent each of the stages at a music festival that we go to. So there's 3 stages. There's Prism, Mushroom, and Nest. And they each kind of have their own stage design and theme. And I want to do kind of like a landscape with like a giant thing representing the stage in the center of them with like people like dancing or like gathering, kind of like worshiping a little bit around them. And I want to try and work some psychedelic imagery that suits each of the stages' vibes into each of the pieces. So they're going to be kind of complicated because it's something that I'm not necessarily good at. So, because I'm going to have to make a lot of like artistic decisions on each of them. And I'm probably going to have to do some like preliminary drawings and stuff for each of them. So probably that'll be the next thing that I work on. There's a small chance that I might stream before we go to my parents' place, in which case I'll just have to come up with like some silly little like 1 day, what's it called, like study to do for a single day, like a quick study of sorts. But after that, yeah, we're going to get pretty long-windedly involved in these 3 pieces that I want to get started on, so... Capture the essence of the mushroom where it is not exact, but it's what you've first seen. Interesting. Yeah, it's like I said, it does have like kind of a soft spot in my heart. It does beg the question, like, when is it necessary to stop working on a piece so that you don't like work it past the point of being interesting. Because when I finished this one, I said to myself out loud, I could keep painting this for another 2 hours. I could have worked on this specific one for probably 2 full more hours in straight acrylics. And if I had done that, I bet it would be like undiscernibly photorealistic. It would just look exactly like the photo at the end. And it would take the longest time by far, but would be indiscernible from the reference material, which isn't necessarily what makes good art. So this has certainly pushed me in the direction of trying to abandon this like exactness in my work that I think I have trouble letting go of. But I don't know, this has been fun anyway. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a cool project. I've liked this.
But you'll never be finished? Yeah, that's fair. Some of these, surprisingly, I feel like I got to where I think they should. Like, this is the most recent one. The last one we did. And for some reason, like 10 minutes before I ran out of time working on this one, I kind of like was done. Like I fussed with it a little bit longer because I had the time, but not because I felt like it actually needed it. Whereas this one, I felt like I was robbed of time and ran out. And then some of the other ones kind of came together about at the time we ran out of time. So it's just really interesting. I don't know. I've learned nothing and a lot somehow at the same time. Bonds is just colored his recent piece. Looks great. That process of like coloring things stresses me the hell out. When you have like a base that you're happy with and like it's time to like move on and put the color in there, you just know there's like this chance that you're gonna do it all wrong. Some stressful stuff. I'll have to if it's on Instagram, Bonds, I'm sure I'll see it floating around, but I'll have to check it out. All right. I guess we should just call it. I don't know. I don't have anything else to be working on today. This is a short-ish stream for us. We're only in 3 hours. But we did what we came here to do. And now it's done. Now it's all done. I also have to figure out, now that I have 5 tiny mushroom paintings, how much I should charge for each of these tiny mushroom paintings. I'm still not, I've tried to do a little bit of research on what like other people have their art priced at online to figure out what my art is worth and what people would be willing to pay for it. And everyone that I look at, they either have it priced in a way that seems insane, like there's no world where I could possibly charge that amount for my work, or they've like way undervalued themselves, and I don't know how to figure that out. But well, job, Fox Bunny. Most recent is most on point to the picture. Interesting. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Which again is strange. I don't know how any of this happened. It all seems like an accident to me. But I think yeah, I'm gonna go sit with this for a while and get some pictures of it in the morning and just call it a night. Which means we can go figure out what to have for Din Din on this good Easter Sunday.
Yeah. Eggies, chocolate.
Okay, eggies would be great, but we don't have any eggies left. All the eggies are gone.
I ate all the eggies.
We have a little bit of chocolate. Just a little bit.
Not enough for dinner.
Not enough for me. I need more chocolate. The problem is everything's closed, so we can only eat that which we have in the house.
That's true.
You're superb, like truly wonderful and very attentive. Gentle even. Wow, you're gentle today, Outa? That's crazy. Sounds like you're going off today. It wouldn't have anything to do with you participating a little too hard in the 420 atmosphere of the day. Would it? Perchance? Alright, guys. I'm gonna call it. There's only a couple of you here, but we could raid somewhere if anybody of value is, Yeah, you know what? Let's Pinions on. there aren't that many of you, but let's go harass Pinion for a minute, why don't we? It's an excellent pastime. Where's the raid button going? I deeply appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you if Anonymous, whoever you are, is still here. Thank you deeply for the gifted subs. Thank you, Outa, for all of the lovely effects and large emotes that you always roll in, slamming around. And thanks everybody who's just been chilling, hanging out, lurking, whatever you're doing. You're here. I appreciate you, except that one guy who got banned. We don't appreciate him. He can go straight to hell. We don't tolerate that level of tomfoolery in this place. So yeah, Pinion's killing it and everything. There's some kind of special star power in that girl, I must say. Extreme star power. So she's climbing the ranks like nobody's business. So yeah, we're gonna head over there, guys. And like I said, thank you guys so much for chilling. I'll see you guys. Oh, Anonymous. Okay. Thank you, Anonymous. You sweetie. You big ol' sweetie. Alright, we're heading over there, guys. Thank you, and have a lovely weekend, everyone. Bye!